Today on Gear Modder, we're going to talk about what you can do if you need to take some space out of your boots. Let's get started. So there are a number of different reasons why you might have too much space in your boots. It doesn't always mean you have the wrong size. For me, for example, I need a wide boot for the front of my foot, but a regular size for the back of my foot. I think that's because I've been wearing a lot of minimalist type footwear, so your foot tends to expand a little bit. And so I need a wide for the front part of my foot. So these boots they're wide, but I noticed that my heel was moving a little too much in the back, maybe a little too much space right in here. So if you have that problem and you're trying to fix it, again, doesn't mean you're wearing the wrong size of boot. Every boot is a little different. These are Bellevilles, for example. If you wear something like an Altama or a Danner boot, they're going to fit a little differently, even though they're the exact same size. Some boots might hug your foot perfectly, others might not. Number of reasons you can run into this particular problem. It doesn't mean the boot's bad. It doesn't mean it's bad quality. Doesn't mean any of that. It's just the way our feet are. Everyone's feet are a little different, and every boot, even the same exact boot, might fit differently the next time you buy it, after you wear a pair out, for example. So, but how can you fix this extra boot space that you might have in your boot to get that perfect fit? If you look online, you'll find a number of different answers. Some people will say that, well, soak your boot in water, the leather will shrink, and it'll fit better. That's true. It won't shrink much, but it will shrink. The problem with that is the moment you get them wet again, well, they're going to expand again if you're wearing them. So, it works, but not terribly well. But it's definitely, you can definitely use water for other things, and I'll get into that in a different video. But the other thing people say is, well, put a bigger insert in your boot. That can work too. The problem is these boots, most boots, have a set heel cup. And so if you wear insoles that are too thick, well, your heel comes higher than the heel cup, is the way it's designed, and it can be uncomfortable to walk in. Same thing if you put insoles that are too small. So, some boots are designed to have a thicker insole, and so if you put a thinner one, then your heel will set lower than it should, and it's going to feel off when you walk in it. So you can try the water routine. You can try different insoles to see if that works. Some people say thicker socks, which is fine if it's cold outside, but when it's not cold outside, maybe you don't want thicker socks. These particular boots have 200 grams of Thinsulate in them. So if you wear thicker socks, well, it's just going to get a little hotter. So may or may not be the solution for you. But in this video, I'm going to talk about a different solution that I've utilized, and it works really well. And it's called a false tongue. It's also known as a kilty. And you see them a lot of times in Western style work boots. Sometimes you'll notice they'll have like a little triangle teeth-like pattern here in the front, kind of sticks out. And it has a very specific purpose. It's designed to protect the tongue of your boots from debris and from impact when you're working. And so a lot of those boots will include a kilty or a false tongue. When you purchase them, they're easy to install. You can change them out. You can get different colors, however you want to change your look. But it also does a really good job of removing some of that extra space in your boot. So where can you get a real easy kilty or false tongue? Well, you can buy them. You can buy them from different manufacturers. They produce them. They're made of high quality durable leather. Again, designed to take that impact here and on the tongue area of your boot. Because a lot of the times the boots that they produce, the tongue is a softer leather than the outer leather of the boot. And in some of these tactical boots or military boots, the same thing is true. The tongue is a softer leather than the outside of the boots. But if you need to get a kilty, if you don't want to purchase one, you might have an old pair of boots laying around. These are very old Crute boots. These are the old, I think these are Altama just all leather boots, obviously they've exceeded their lifetime. But if you have an old pair of boots like that and you're thinking about throwing them out, wait for a second and see if you can maybe use some of that material. In this case, I took a piece of leather here out of the side of the boot and I shaped it, put a couple of holes in it, made sure that it fit, measured up to the boot, got the holes put in place, cut it so that it was the right width, and now I'm going to install it. Really easy to install. You just kind of lay it here in the boot like so. Again, hopefully you've measured this before you started cutting. You want to make sure that it's laced underneath like so. You don't want to lace it the other way around because then it can create hot spots on the top part of your foot, so always lace it underneath when you're installing a kilty. Again, it doesn't matter if you've made one or if you've purchased it from a manufacturer, but you always want to lace it underneath. And then you start putting the laces through. Now I'm using 550 cord for my laces like I do on all my boots. Which is perfectly, works perfectly well with the kilties. If you buy them from manufacturers, sometimes they come with leather laces, so the thick laces are not a problem. And then you just start lacing like you normally would. Everybody has a different lacing pattern that they like to use. When you talk to those who are hikers or they spend a lot of times outdoors, typically they'll have their custom way of lacing their boots up. Maybe they want pressure on one part of their foot and not another. And so any way you lace it is fine, as long as it's comfortable for you. But what the kilty will do is it puts one more layer of protection between your foot and the laces. So it should be even more comfortable than before. All right, so I always knot the ends of my laces just because of the way that I lace them up. So whatever your practice is for finishing off your lacing routine. And there you go, you're done. They look really good. You really can't tell that you have them in there when you're walking around. Again, it takes out that empty space from your boot, keeps your heel secure in the hilt cup. But it's great when you wear a wide, but there's just a little too much room in it. Again, not all wide boots are the same. For example, these are also Belleville. This is their extreme cold weather boot. It is a 10 wide. You get it here in the camera, but it fits like a glove. No heel problems whatsoever. Perfect, and it's also a 10 wide. So again, just because you buy the right size doesn't mean it's going to fit exactly right. Every boot's a little different. It's leather changes, leather stretches, a number of reasons why it might not fit exactly the same. But if you run into this problem and you have too much room, you can use a kilty to get rid of that space. Hopefully this helps, gives you some other ideas. Well, this is Gear Modder, signing out.